Now.
All right, great. Thank you very much for having me on, Synergy Traders, your tech traders, and for being part of your TradeOutLoud and Timing Research group. So today I want to be talking about trading strategies using the MT4Professional trade platform. I want to remind everyone that MT4Professional and Resilient Traders are not registered trading advisors, so we cannot give you specific trade advice. We cannot tell you whether to buy or sell any security or currency. But what we do provide is education and training on how to use the platform and our software and how to trade in the markets to develop a trading plan that is both consistently profitable and successful. Hopefully, over time, you'll be able to develop a trade plan that will help you to navigate the rocky road to profitability. Trading with futures, stocks, forex options, cryptocurrencies has a large potential for reward, but they also have a large potential for risk. You need to be aware of these risks and be willing to accept them in order to trade or invest in any of these markets. So please don't trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Past performance is not indicative of future results, so make sure you get advice from a competent financial advisor before you start trading or investing in any of these markets, and never, ever, ever trade in a live account until you have first proven you can consistently and profitably trade your trading plan in a simulated account. And then, and only then, can you start really working on the mind game, focused on working on trading your plan, but you got to focus on building your mind game as well. So 90% of the trade is in your head. I want to move forward to that. I am Randy Lindsey. I'm your trade coach, operations director from MT4Professional. Joining me in the crowd today is Claudio Cardinale. He's our product development director and technology guru. Together, we form MT4Professional. And today I want to talk to you about trading strategies. Trading strategies on MT4Professional. What is a market scanner? I want to talk about what MT4Professional is. I want to give you a live demonstration of the full software platform and make you a very, very, very special offer since it's the day after Easter weekend. This is going to be a special offer we're making, especially to the Synergy Traders group. Dennis had one quick question before we get going. He said, can explain in your head. I'm talking about the mindset of a trader. So if you are ready to take a trade, you can talk yourself or convince yourself into getting into the trade or getting out of the trade and not really following your trade plan. So it's the emotions, it's the things that go on in your head if you're not properly prepared, if the kids are screaming and you got things going on around you, your head's not really focused, you're not really in the game. So having a disciplined approach to trading, as in a business, as in a trade plan, is 90% of your trade. And if you have all of that together, if you're disciplined and following your plan, you have a trade plan that gets you to that point, following it and keeping with it, then the money's just going to follow. The success is just going to follow. Having the tools are a good part of it, but the most important part is the mental training. Very welcome. All right, so let's get going with this. So I'm going to talk about some trading strategies specific to MT4 and MT4Professional. A lot of people like to use price action. So the first one on my list is live price action with an exponential moving average. We'll go over that. We'll go over how that has some advantages, and we're going to be looking into that and how popular that is. I'll show you how we can use it within our MT4Professional scanner to use it and to scan in real time all the instruments that we're interested in following any of these strategies. The MACD and signal, ever popular. It's a great way to get in and out of trades. The moving average crossover is one which helps you to see and identify trends, identify whether you're moving in or out of a trade or out of a trend direction. Or you could be like some traders who like to put them all together. They like to have every indicator under the sun. So EMA and price, they trade a little bit of MACD, some signal lines, even throw in an RSI for relative strength to determine directionality, trend strength, or to determine whether they're overbought or oversold. Now, I didn't mention other things like stochastics or Bollinger Bands, a lot of other things I didn't really talk about. Those are all valid and very useful and can be used within our scanner to look for trade opportunities. But today we're limited by time. So I'm going to be going over these strategies specifically because they're the most popular, and I'll show you how we set them up and implement them on that. So let's talk a little bit about what the MT4 Professional Scanner is and who we are. So consider all of the Forex pairs that you have at your disposal, 50 different Forex pairs, 20 CFDs, 9 time frames. If you have access to stocks or futures, then you have a plethora of instruments that you have access to. So, I mean, just Forex alone, that's 630 combinations that you have to be looking for. So do you really think you're able to do this manually? How often do you think you miss opportunities simply because you're just not in front of it? So trading on different instruments is a must today to make trading profitable. Well, in fact, trading uncorrelated instruments is a great way to remove uncertainty of an instrument and to diversify your portfolio. So you need to have a way of looking around and finding the opportunities when they're ready, when they're moving, when the opportunities are set up. So a perfect solution for that is a market scanner. A market scanner is an automatic tool that allows you to scan the market looking for situations at a glance for any symbol or time frame with your own rules based on your own ideas and your own indicators. So it's not a signal provider, it's just a tool allowing you to analyze your strategies the way that you want using the indicators that you want. A simple example is the cross of two moving averages. Let's consider an MA15 and an MA30. These are simple moving averages. A bullish cross would be identified as green. A bearish cross would be identified as red. Now, when I say bullish or bearish cross, I'm assuming you already know what that is, but a bullish cross is when the fast moving average crosses the slow moving average. And a bearish cross is when the fast moving average crosses under the slow moving average. So on the right, you can see I've got a list, like a spreadsheet of symbols and colors with different time frames. So the M15 and M30 shows the two different time frames. So if I have, for example, the euro US dollar, both are green, showing that I have on the 15-minute time frame a bullish cross, and the 30, a bullish cross in play. I can see that on the pound US dollar as well. Just the opposite for the Canadian, Swiss, and yen. So you can see I've got several opportunities already presented to me. And if I can do that for all of my list, you can see that I've got quite a range, and I can scan through those really quickly. Just look at those. If I can click on any of these, that would be even better, just to pull it up and see those on my chart. So that's the idea about a scanner. Scanner is something to help us to see and not miss trade opportunities. So I mentioned multiple time frames. Well, did you know that if you trade with multiple time frames, you have a higher probability of a profitable trade? It's due to correlation. Correlation is one of the advantages of using multiple time frames. Let's look at the windows on the right. You can see the 4-hour time frame, the 1-hour time frame, and the 15-minute. Notice how noisy the trades get once you start going down in time. You can see that there's a lot of corrections, a lot of noise going up in, but the longer time frame smooths out a lot of that noise, and the corrections that you get are usually major. So if you're trading in harmony with the longer time frame direction or trend, the probability of your trade will end better. So you're going to have a higher probability trade, lower risk entry. So a market scanner, which could scan and look for trade setups based upon these longer or higher time frame trends, following your own rules, verified using these higher time frame setups, would be an extremely valuable tool, because it's going to get us and help us to find these high probability, low risk trades. And that's the idea behind it. Why do we use MT4 and MT5? There's a lot of brokers who work with MT4 and MT5. give you access to very good commission rates. There's a lot of good custom indicators and standard indicators that are already available on both platforms. So it's a good market scanner would be able to use any of these indicators within that. So that's the idea behind that. We want to focus on a popular and widely available platform. So as professional traders, we started looking for scanners to be able to meet our criteria and needs. And the problem was we really didn't find any. Most of the ones that we even came across were too complex to configure, which meant you had to be a programmer to use it, either unstable or just a single tool that's focused and not really broad-based. It's not using the entire system, or it just was incompatible with the indicators that we had available. So there were a lot of issues that we ran into. So our solution to that was to develop our own. So we decided to create MT4Professional for ourselves, for our own daily trading. And we've released it to the public, and now it's the #1 market scanner on MT4 and MT5. It's a tool that allows you to instantly scan the market for setups that match your own unique criteria and rules based upon your own strategies. So when you find a good setup on MT4Professional, it even allows you to enhance it with technical analysis using multiple time frame tools, which is really not easy to do on MT4 or MT5. So stay tuned. I want to show you a little bit more on that. And we're going to identify that. So we'll go right into the demonstration now. So let me pull up my MT4 platform for you. This is live, so feel free to ask any questions along the way in the chat box. I'll be more than glad to pull that up for you. Here I'm showing you my MT4 platform. I've got 4 different windows. They're all 30-minute charts. They're all using different symbols. And if I wanted to change a symbol on any one of these, then you have to go over and drag and drop a symbol from the left and drop it onto the, I'll do this one, onto the chart on the right. So that gives you an interaction. I can't click on this. It's not going to do anything for me on that. If I wanted to look and analyze these different charts, then I have to right-click on the chart to see where the potential setup occurred. I have to look down for the time, and I have to look over to the right for the price in order to identify that position. And then once I do see the position, then I've got to memorize it. And then when I go over to the other chart and I look at the same time and price location, if it's the same instrument or not, I have to identify that there. So it's not easy. It's actually very difficult. If I want to try to optimize my screen, if I go to full screen, notice all the dead space that I have outside of the platform area. I have to physically go under window and resize everything to do that, right? Okay, but what if I had different size windows? I would have to physically redraw them if I wanted to go to full screen mode, like you just saw me do. Here, I've got to redo it again. And then if I were to go back, here, they're all clipped. I'm gonna have to, what a hassle. And that's for windows that are all the same size. Now let me pull up one with windows that aren't the same size. If you get a lot of windows that are there that don't have the same size windows, like here I've got 2 windows that have my fat man in them, and I've got the 3 other time frames. Notice these are all the same time, the same symbol, but different time frames, 15, 30, and 60 minutes. But if I were to pull this back down into this size, notice it clipped everything. So how am I going to resize everything to fit other than just having to physically drag and move these over? Such a pain. And if I wanted to change the symbol of each one of these, I have to physically go over here and to change the symbol on each individual one. Not easy. Not as easy as I would like. Okay, see that? So MT4Professional gives us a lot of solutions for that. So let's go down and launch MT4Professional platform, and I'll show you and give you a straight tour exactly what it looks like. The first thing that you'll see is this is a configuration-based, cloud-based platform. So what it does is it launches within your MT4 platform as a profile, but you use it just like a regular platform. So you select a configuration and it gives you configurations. These are ones that I have created. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see the presets. The presets are all of the example configurations that we provide for you when you get your own copy. And I also have an area that you can share. So this is an ability for you to share your configurations with anybody else using the MT4 platform. So this setups. So what I wanted to do is first off is go into the EMA and price for those of you who are price action guys and gals. So we'll go in and we'll load this configuration. And first thing you'll see is the charts come up, the cursor on the screen, the synchronization between the windows and the scanner over on the left actively scanning for my strategy. All of that within one single click. If I see a trade setup over here on the left, then all I have to do, and notice these are all the euro US dollar and the 3 different time frames, just click on one symbol and it automatically changes the symbol on all of the charts. You see that? And also, let me see if we were looking at one there. Yeah. That's a sweet chart. All right, so looking at the setup here, then you can see using the EMA and price, the strategy is such that if you have a close greater than the EMA, then you are looking at a long trade. If you see the close below the EMA, then you're looking for a short trade. Now, if you look for this as a short trade on your 15-minute chart, then if this strategy signal came up and you took the trade, you would have had this very small amount of profit, but it would have pulled back on you really quickly, and then you probably would have been stopped out. If you looked at the longer time frame chart at the exact same time, okay, right there, notice that the close was never below the EMA on either of your longer term charts. So you were in line with the longer term trend. So that told you this really wasn't going to be supported in the downward direction because the longer term trend was still firmly moving up on both of our time frames. So you would not have been able to take this as a trade if you had a trade plan that gave that as the criteria. Following that, then you would have been able to either stay with the trade or exit at this point and then re-enter once it crossed right back over in line with the longer term trend. Okay, so those are 2 great ways that you would be able to use that. And do you notice the ease at which now I can do time and price correlation between all the different time frames? Multiple time frame analysis just got 300 times better. Also, did you notice how easy it was for me to click on a symbol and change all the charts? Pretty simple. Now watch me go into full screen mode. All right, you set it up and you go into full screen mode. Notice all the windows update instantly. That is awesome. I love that. You don't have to, and notice this, see, this is a different size window. I don't have to worry about resizing anything because it automatically will do it for me. All right, so let's look at the analysis now in the scanner. So if you select the configuration, you go into the scanner and edit it. Then I want to go into the scanner itself and look at the rules. The rules are called color rules. The color rules are rules we use to define the color of the scanner panel. You can call it anything you want to. This one's called main color rule. I have it applied to a 15-minute, a 30-minute, and an hourly chart. So I've got 3 columns that should be displayed. Let me go ahead and move this over so that you can see it. Yeah. So here you can see 15, 30, and hourly for every symbol across the thing. So that way you can see it. So, and it's very simple to change these. These are all drop-down menus, so you can change and update them to any time frame you have available. This is a color rule based upon this strategy. Now notice I can have multiple strategies here, and I can apply a strategy to one time frame, but I can have a different strategy and apply it to another time frame. You're not limited in any way. So let's go ahead and pull this one down and edit it with the little pencil edit button. And this shows you what the actual conditions are that are going to be performed by the platform. So right now, the color rule is saying condition 1 is looking at the close of current price if it is greater than or equal to the 15-period exponential moving average. So this is a short way of saying, did price close above the moving average? If this is true, then color the cell green. If this is not true, then it's going to go over to this condition. That's what the OR is, this one or that one. If price is less than the 15-period exponential, then color the cell red. If neither of these conditions are true, the default color yellow will be used. Well, since I have greater than or equal to and less than, they're always one or the other will be true. So I'll have a green or I will have a red condition. To get any of these conditions, all you have to do is just click the plus sign. If I want to add additional conditions, you click this plus sign. Here's the and button. So I get the close of price greater than the MA, and we'll say I have another moving average. I wanted to set up a longer term moving average. I want to see if the 15-period exponential also is greater than the longer term moving average. So let me set up a new moving average, which is under the trend. And I'm going to set that up to be a 50-period simple moving average. So if my 15-period exponential now is greater than the 50-period, so now I have a moving average crossover in the direction and price closing, that becomes a much stronger condition for me to take it, okay? So both of these have to be true. I have to have price over the exponential, and the exponential has to be greater than the 50. See that? See the logic behind it? So it's so simple and easy to pull that up. And you notice how I did it just by clicking the plus sign. I can input a constant value. So say that if I were looking for it to be over a constant or a certain price, then I could just put that price value in here or just choose any indicator. You can select any indicator category that you have access to, any trend indicators, okay? You can set up any oscillators, okay? Any of the indicators that you have access to on the availability there. And or if you have a custom or one that you've written or one that you've purchased, then you can pick that from your computer by clicking this button and identifying the indicator from the indicators folder. It's very, very simple, easy, and straightforward to use. I'm gonna go ahead and I don't want that part of my strategy, so I'm gonna just take it off there. These are the conditions I have applied, so I'll go ahead and move that out there. They're applied to 3 different time frames, just what I wanted. If I want to get an alert for whenever these conditions become true, then all I have to do is turn on real-time notifications right here. And if I want SMS messages as well, then I can go and verify my phone number on the MT4 Professional Members area, and I will also receive SMS messages on my phone, in addition to emails and alerts, on-screen alerts, and so forth. All right. To set up the way that my charts look, then all I have to do is click on this side, and you can see that I have 3 panels that have pictures on them. I could make this full screen if you want, but these are showing you the defined areas that the charts will be drawn. And then within each of these defined areas, you can see that I have a selected template and a time period. I can choose any time frame that I want. Notice the 15-minute is on the first one. It'll do 15-minute. And the template, that's the style and how the chart looks and everything, is selected from any template that you have access to on your platform. So any template you've saved or that you currently are using can be pulled up and used within this as a template and saved. You can add an additional chart window by clicking the Add Chart window here. You can tile them any way that you want, horizontally, vertically, tile all of them together. They're all the same size. And then now you have the choice of selecting this as a time frame and giving it a template if you just choose the one that's already loaded, or you can create a new one. Not all of them have to have the same look. You can have one that looks one way and then another one that looks a different way. I'll show you some examples of that a little bit later on. You find one that you really don't want, then you can just delete it, pull things back the way they used to be. Okay. So it's that easy to set up and make it look exactly the way that you want it to. Once you're done with all the setups, you've created your scanner, you've input the symbols from the custom symbol list. Any symbol you have access to can be selected and with the right click moved over to your list. And if there's any on your list that you don't want, you can always remove them and then add them with any other symbol that you currently have access to. Very easy to do. Once you make any changes, always hit the save button. That way it updates it in the cloud and on your computer. And then every time you hit the save button and you made changes, always hit the load button because that will always reload the current changes and load it into memory so that you'll have current access to it. It's that easy. So before we do that, then I want to move on to something a little more complex. We were looking at crosses, EMA crosses. That's a simple one. Let's look at a, there it is. This one combines multiple ones. So my MACD, here, this one we're looking at 4-hour, daily, weekly, not just intraday, but longer term. And I'm looking at the price and the EMA. I'm looking at the MACD crossover. Hey, I even have a relative strength in here. So let's see how we can kind of integrate these and put them all together. The scanner's over here doing its work in the background, and I'll explain it as we go by. But for the MACD indicator shows you where bullish or bearish signal and entries are. So the histogram is referred to as the base indicator. The red line is usually called the signal line. So whenever the base indicator is greater than the signal line, that's a bullish indication. So you want to be bullish at that point. Whenever you see price crossing over or greater than your 15-period exponential moving average, you want to be bullish. Whenever you see relative strength rising, so the slope of your relative strength is positive or you're gaining strength, that's bullish. So when all these conditions come together at one point, you want to say that should be a good point to take a trade. If that's the case, then you have a signal that goes off and scans for that and shows you that trade opportunity. Let's look at the configuration, see how we do that. While I'm here, I wanted to point out something. See the little share icon down in the bottom right? This allows you to share your configurations that you've done, all of your strategies and rules, with any other of your trade partners or buddies or trading group, anybody that's using MT4Professional also, you can share that with them so that everybody will be on the same page at the same time. So you don't have to worry about being off. Since everything is cloud-based, it automatically sends them a link to the setups that you've done so that you can do it all together. So let's go into the configuration and see what I've done. See, I have a strong signal. You can give it any name you like, of course. Let's go in and see what this strong signal is. Notice that there are two different configurations that are here, a strong signal and a weekly trend. Well, on my 4-hour, I'm using a strong signal. On my daily, I'm using the strong signal, but down here on my weekly, I'm using the weekly trend. Okay, I turned off the strong signal because I don't need that on my weekly chart. All I'm looking for, am I in line with the longer term trend? That's all that is. So let's look at the strong signal first to see what is a strong signal. I have multiple conditions set up here. So I say a strong bearish signal would be when a MACD is less than the MACD. So what does that mean? Well, at this first instance is a MACD with a base indicator line. The second one is a MACD with a regular signal line. So I'm saying if the base indicator, that's the white, is less than the signal line, which is the red, that's bearish. So this one is the indicator. This one is the signal. So indicator less than signal, bearish. If price closes less than my 15-period exponential, bearish. If I have relative strength 2 bars ago greater than the current relative strength, that's also bearish. And so what do you mean, Randy? Well, if you have the current relative strength, like right here, 2 bars ago, compared to the current one now, if this is greater than this, that means the slope is declining. You have weakening relative strength. That's bearish. If it were, in this case, where the previous bar was less than the current, then that's a bullish sign. You don't want that when everything else is bearish. So if all 3 of these conditions are true, and this shows you the slope, then this cell will be changed to the color red. Or just the opposite. You're looking for a bullish cross, you're looking for a close above your line, and you're looking for a positive slope on your RSI, which means the relative strength 2 bars ago is less than the current relative strength. That's bullish, and that would be a strong signal either one way or the other. If any of these conditions are not true, i.e., if maybe you do have a MACD cross and RSI bullish, but you have the close has not crossed the MA15. Well, the output, that means that this would be false. Then it would evaluate this, and of course it would be false as well. So the default color then would be played in that case. So you would get a yellow cell showing that conditions are not met for either bullish or bearish setup. Okay, so let's look real quick then at the weekly trend. The weekly trend is a very simple thing. All I'm doing is the same thing. I'm looking to see if price is closed above the MA15 on the weekly chart. And if it's bullish, then I want to be green. If it's bearish, I want it to be red. If it's equal to or right at it, that probably means it's congested. So it will be yellow and I don't want to trade it. Very, very simple. So when I look at the overall strategy then on my screen right here, then here you can see the yellow ones are the ones where the conditions aren't met, but the colored ones are showing you the conditions are met and are valid for trade consideration. Now the weekly chart, we know that's only for trend. So we're only looking at these, like you can see the Euro weekly is red. Here you can see the price has closed under the moving average. Okay, so that's red. That's mean it's in a downtrend, and right now for the trend, we're only looking at trying to consider trades that are short. So when price comes above and then crosses back down below, boom. We want to be notified and we want to be ready to take that as a downward trade. Okay, so right now it's gone yellow. If it goes yellow, if it goes green and then comes back red, then we know that we're ready for a new trade and to get back into that existing trend. Now, you want to do a little bit of analysis and you say, okay, I'll get back into that trade. But if you're getting back into the trade when you know it's coming down into support, that's probably not the best place to be. So that's always a consideration. And that's why you want to look at longer term charts as well, because you can see where your base support or your supply is sitting at and where your demand zones are. And you want to be able to play your trades in line with that. All right. So, so far we've had a really quiet audience. I haven't had any questions come by. That's okay. It's a lot of information to take in. It's a very powerful platform. The ability to take and automate these scans and to find trade setups is just cool. And the really nice features of single click integration from your symbols, your charts, and then to quickly go through all of these. I mean, one glance, you can go through and see which ones are setting up and which ones are not, and which ones are ready to turn, which ones are reversing, and so forth. And so it's a setup that's really, really sweet for any of you who are experienced traders, or even if you're beginners, because it's so easy to set up and use. If you have a slower computer, then we have a settings bar here that allows you to slow or speed up your computer, so the scanner can be sped up or slowed down. to accommodate your specific needs. If you have any type of symbol changes, then you can put in the symbol change here, like I do. I have a -e suffix or postfix that you can add. If you have a prefix, you can put that in as well. You can change the color of your crosshairs, treat empty cells as 0, and so forth. So all those access very quickly at your fingertip. You can take a picture and a snapshot of any screen you like and share it globally. You can also share it publicly. And that reminds me that I want to pull up the members area. So when you go to our website, MT4Professional.com, and you become a member by signing in to the sign in button, here is the members area that you log in. You have full access to download the software for MT4 or MP5, whichever one works. And then we have a full onboarding process where we hold your hand and help you make sure you get everything set up and working properly. If you need any help at all, then we can help you on that setup. And we provide 30 minutes of onboarding one-on-one time to help you to get set up and moving right along. If you wanted to not be stuck on your computer, i.e. If you're in the middle of a trade, or if you're looking at a trade setup and you need to go to lunch, or you got a hot date coming up, or something's happening, you want to be still alerted to that, then you can take MT4 Professional with you. So by going over to the real-time scanner here, now this is a browser, so you can pull up this browser on your mobile phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, and just take it wherever you go, and then pull this window up and then load the scanner that you currently have loading. See, I currently have the MyMacD configuration running on my account, so I will load that account on my screen, and you'll see that the live scanner is running right here on my chart. So everything that you see here is currently on your desktop. And if you see a setup, like for example, the dollar-yen, you simply click on it one time here on your mobile device, and notice it changes over on your laptop or over on your desktop device. And it goes and grabs a picture of that and shows you that the current trade setup is and what it looks like. So that way you can validate and verify that the actual trade setup is good and that you can enter the trade. So on your mobile device, just go to your broker, enter your trade, and you don't have to run back to your office just to find out that you're ready for the trade. This is super sweet and ready to go. And you can do that in real time. So any symbol that I click on will automatically switch over, and then it'll take a snapshot and send it right to you. If you get any trade alerts or anything alerts to you, then right here under the bell, you can see is a notifications panel that shows you when the real-time scanner alerts you to a setup or a trade, and if there are any software announcements as well. We tell you whether there are any setups or any trade announcements that are coming up as well. Uh-oh, seems to have frozen. I'm not sure why. Well, I'll just refresh the page then. I apologize. This has never happened to me before. Oh, snap. And so I'll just log back in again. Go to my real-time scanner. Pull that up. There we go. All right, so we're right back in. So if you have any snapshots, then just simply go on the snapshots page, and it shows you a list of all of the snapshots that you've taken and saved. It gives you the ability to establish them as either public snapshots, or you can set them as private. And then if they're public, then it gives you links that you can share and the ability to put that on any of the social media pages that you like with any comments, and then they can click on that and see your comments, to see your charts and these setups that you did. You can also tag these so that any of these tags can show up, and you can sort them based upon the tags. And if you're only looking for a specific tag, just simply click it and it pulls up the tags based upon all of these systems that you're using and the setups that you've done for that. So it's pretty sweet and it's pretty easy to use, and it's as straightforward as it gets. You can manage all your licenses in one place, and you can even get a referral bonus if you send people our way. We help you along with that. Oh, don't forget though, also that we do have all the documentation and videos here in the Documentation and Visitor Center. So just simply click that button and you have access to our full online documentation to answer most of your questions. If you have others, then you can always get a hold of us at any time. This doesn't only work with Forex, it can work with any other data that you have access to. So if you have stocks, if you have futures, CFDs, or any other instrument that you have access to on your MT4 or MT5 platform brokerage, then you'll have access to it from MT4 Professional. There's no limit to the number of stocks or instruments that you can scan. However, the more that you load, the more CPU intensive that it becomes. So if you load everything, then it'll still work. It's just going to be a lot slower, because notice the number that I have here, the scan rate is going through and scanning and updating as it goes through. So about 1 second per scan. And then so depending upon how complex your item is, this can be slow or fast. Now this is fairly complex because it's looking at price and EMA, MACD, and relative strength comparisons. So it's doing quite a bit in the background on multiple time frames as well. So just wanted to remind you of that and put that into perspective as well. But yes, it will work. All right, let me go back to my presentation really quickly. And I want to make you a very special offer since we're getting close to the end of our presentation. And then I'll go back to the demonstration and answer whatever questions that may come up. Normally, we value this about $22.95, 700 full featured MT4 and MT5. We give you full access to our Skype users community, unlimited configurations and storage, plus 100 SMS notifications per month. All of 14 of our pre-configured presets. Of course, you're not going to pay $22.95. Nobody pays that. We usually have it set up for $194 a month. Periodically, we'll knock it down to $97 a month, which is 50% off of our regular monthly subscription. But because it's the day after Easter, because of the special Synergy Traders event that we're on right now, we're going to be making it available to you guys for $23 a month. Listen, what? If you use the code Easter 2022, then you'll get access to this for $23 per month. And this isn't just for 1 month. It's not for 3 months. It's for the lifetime of the subscription. So if you have the subscription, you hold on to it, then you're going to have that for life. When our prices go back up to 97 or to 194, you're going to still have to be locked into this price. So type in the key code Easter 2022 when you get to the trial page, MT4Professional.com/trial. Claudio has put the link on the chat panel for you. You'll get 14 days to try it out absolutely free. Your credit card will not be charged until after the 14th day. And you will be given many reminder emails as to when this 14-day trial will be ending. So you'll have access, be able to cancel your trial at any point. But you get 14 days to try the full software package on your computer, set it up, you even make some money if you're that good. So give us a try. $23 a month is an unbeatable price. It's unusual to have it that low. 97 is usually our low point. So we've pulled out all the strings to give this setup to you right now. So MT4Professional.com/trial. use the code Easter 2022. It is case sensitive, so make sure that you make them all caps. And take advantage of this 14-day free trial or the $23 lifetime subscription price for the full software package, including the Skype access and all of our presets. If you have any questions or comments, you can set up a ticket and email us at support@MT4Professional.com. We promise a 24-hour return within 24 hours. And we are always good to give you attention to that. As with any MT4 or MT5, there are no data fees or any additional fees on monthly fees. What you see here is the monthly fees. If you go over the SMS notifications, you get 100 per month. If you go over that 100 limit, then you will need to pay an additional small fee to reload the number of SMS messages you can send during the month. That's all. Because that does, it's an ongoing cost for us as well to do that. All right, let me get my platform back up again. Let me pop this button down and watch everything reset. Look at that, so nice. That way you can still see the trial button, the code, and then I'll go through and answer any other questions that you might have. Now you can use and set up any configuration that I had said earlier. I didn't show any ones that had Bollinger Bands or that used the Ichimoku cloud, using levels of support and resistance. All of those are fully integrated and available through this. I want to show you one that I use with custom software. Speaking of that, I have some software that I wrote myself that I use. And so using this setup here, then I'm looking specifically at trend. I'm looking specifically at volume. I'm looking specifically at price action. So I want to be able to see when trend, when volume, when price have aligned to give me setups with multiple time frames. So trend, automatic trailing stops, momentum, volume, and then longer time frame signals that show me when the best time to enter, when potential reversals are occurring, when to get out, and where the longer time frame trend has aligned on that. So these are all custom indicators that aren't part of the system. So you say, well, how do you integrate that with this? Now notice that under the first column, I have 3 different colors. So that's showing me the relationship between trend, volume, and momentum. And here I've got volume and momentum, and here I just only have volume. And so by looking at these, that tells me whether I'm ready to take the trade or not, or what the condition of the trade really is. So notice that here on the 5-minute chart, I have a green trend. Do you see that? The trend is moving up, but the momentum of the volume is currently not green. And see how red the momentum is right here. So that's telling me that I have a condition set up that is not suitable for a trade. But my longer term, you can see that I have red volume set up, and I've got green volume set up and red on the momentum, and longer term trend is bullish. So actually this one right here is the wrong one. US dollar yen, red, green, red, right there, green. So let's look at the configuration for that. Edit, setup, rules. So notice I have a lot of different colors on this search, and that's because I have 3 different strategies all going at the same time. So you create the columns by simply creating a scanner configuration. So you notice this column 5 that I have set up here. That's right here, column 5. Column 15, column 30. All I have to do is just add a different one, then I can set it up by that way. So let me pull this over here and show you. So I'll make this full screen. All I have to do is click this plus sign one time, and now I have another column. One column, two columns, three columns. Here's the fourth column. Okay, here's the, if I input the criteria for that, this one I'm only going to be looking at, say, the volume. Then I can add another one. This is the fifth column. That's an hourly. This one would be a 4-hour. So forth. What rule do I want to use on this one? I only want to look at trend. So it doesn't matter. You can create, every time you create and fill one in, then you have the ability to create another one. You're not limited. If you look at the rules, then the idea behind this is you want to identify and see when the rule is set. So for these indicators, any custom indicator, you would want to be able to see the data window. So pull up your data window and see the output of each one of the data items on the window. Then that will show you the output of this setup. So you can see at this point right here, the output of the data window is trend long, trend short, or trend neutral. So my trend indicator is showing me I am trend neutral. Okay, it's because I have an output value that's greater than 0. Notice that the other two are null or equal to zeros. So if I move this to a point that's green, notice the, right there, notice the first one, which is the trend long, the first output became greater than 0. So that's positive. So this is the signal I'm looking for. So I'm looking to see if this trend indicator is greater than 0 or not. That would be long. If the second output of that trend indicator, all right, were greater than 0, then it would be short. And that would occur right here. See this? This is short. Notice the second output. See that? And so forth. So these are the outputs. I have 3 outputs. I load the indicator 3 different times in the scanner and look to see if they're greater than 0 or not. So that's the nice thing about it. So you're not limited. You can use any indicator suite that you're used to using. The ability to integrate them all into a scanner is excellent. So just wanted to show that, set that up to you. The difference between MT4 and MT5, it's MT5 is newer, has a lot more time frames available. Instead of just the standard set time frames you see here, then you'll get a lot more time frames. You get a lot more access to symbols. It's not as stable as MT4 because MT4 has been around. MT5 is not accepted by as many brokers as MT4. MT4 is much more popular with brokers, and they supply that to most of their clients because it is a very stable and very reliable platform. MT5 is not quite there yet. So there are some advantages and disadvantages of both. I don't know if I could tell you which one is better. It depends on you and how you would use that. So, but the nice thing about MT4Professional is we give you the option to use either one. You don't have to lock into one or the other. So pick one, download the software. We give you the access to the software on either MT4 or MT5, either one. And use the one that works best for you. That's what it's all about. Make sure that you get what you've came for. We've got about 2 more minutes. So if you have any other questions or any accessibility, let me know. This is the time to ask it. MT4Professional.com/trial is the link to get started. If you're questioned or interested in it, use the code Easter 2022 if you want to lock in the $23 a month price. Otherwise, it's going to go back up to either $97 or $194. This will be locked in for the entire duration of your trial, for the entire duration of your subscription. If you cancel it at any time, you feel free to, and you have access to do that in the members area. So just log into your members area, go under the icon, which is a settings icon. From your settings, then you can go down to the subscriptions and you can subscribe, payment method, any invoices that you have. And from this button, you can cancel using the cancel subscription at any point. Either MT4 or MT5 could be better for stocks, but most of the stock traders that I know of in futures use the MT5 platform, but it's all broker dependent. You've got to find a broker that'll give you the stock equity futures data and the ability to trade those. There are a lot of brokers that do, but you got to find one, set the account up. We're not a brokerage. We don't do that service. We just give you the platform to run on top of either MT4 or MT5 whenever you have it ready. The subscription the basic subscription comes with the license to use it with one platform, but you get a demo or a live account. You can use a demo account on MT4 and a live account on MT5, and that way you can use both at the same time. But if you have 2 live accounts or 2 demo accounts running simultaneously, you won't be able to do that. You'll have to upgrade to one of the higher plans in order to do that. So Mark, I think I just answered your question. You can use MT4 and MT5 with one license, but one has to be a demo and the other one has to be a live or a real account. You can't have 2 live or 2 demos running at the same time on either MT4 or MT5. But you can and use it that way. All right, any of these software or platforms that I've shown you today are not included with the software. We provide you a platform, not indicators or things. So anything that I've shown are just based upon indicators that are available that you already currently have available. So if you, for example, the previous software that I had written, you would have to have a license for that in order to use it. These indicators are all free to use, and any indicator that you have from your navigator panel are free to use as well, unless you've purchased them. Like the Hawkeye tools are ones that I purchased. Didn't actually purchase them because I wrote them, but you have access to using those within the system, but they do not come as part of the platform. So just want to make sure that was clear as well. So I think I'm about out of time. Thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate it. David, are you still there?